Now, it was one of the true blue areas that experienced a shock Lib Dem swing 4 years ago, and now the party wants to make even more gains in Buckinghamshire. So Ed Davey was on the campaign trail in Chesham today, ahead of the upcoming local elections. For him, it's another blue target he wants to paint yellow, but the Conservatives would be hoping the 2021 general election was the Lib Dems' high watermark. Our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
I think I need my sleeves up, don't you?
You probably do, yeah.
Sir Ed Davey's election stunts have been watered down since the last campaign. Instead of paddleboarding or bungee jumping, the Lib Dem leader was gently wading in the River Chess in Chesham, one of 9 chalk streams in the Chilterns. Buckinghamshire, along with Hertfordshire, are the 2 home counties where the Lib Dems would dearly like to topple the ruling Conservatives.
I expect that we can make some real gains from the Conservatives in Buckinghamshire and Hertfordshire. Difficult to know the final result, whether the Conservatives will cling on. That's probably likely because they've got big majorities, particularly in Buckinghamshire. But we're really finding a fantastically warm welcome on the doorsteps.
Green, Sarah Louise.
4 years ago, voters here delivered a shock result when they elected a Lib Dem MP in the Chesham and Amersham COVID by-election. Brexit and HS2, which runs through the Chilterns, both harmed the Conservative vote. But local Tories think the tide has turned.
I think when we look at the immediate neighbouring authorities like Windsor and Maidenhead, for instance, where they've put council tax up by 25% when the people voted for Liberal Democrats, down there they voted for change, and boy, they're regretting it.
In some parts of the home counties, voters will have no say at all after their elections were cancelled. That's because Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, has announced a big reorganisation of local government. So in Essex and Surrey, voters won't be going to the polls. Labour's plans would see a new authority called Greater Essex, run by a directly elected mayor.
We want to devolve more power to communities, and that's why reorganising local government and introducing more elected mayors, I think, will make a real difference, bringing power away from Whitehall into communities. So it's the right decision to make sure we've got local government fit for the future.
But the cancelled elections have infuriated Reform, which had high hopes of winning more seats on Essex County Council and possibly taking control of Thurrock Council.
These are long-standing county council elections. They took place in 2021, and in 2021, nobody was told this might be the last time you get to vote for a county councillor. So people are furious, and they have every right to be.
People are going to be stuck with councillors that they voted for quite a long time ago at this point, and how on earth can those people claim to represent residents throughout this reorganisation when they were elected so long ago and in such different political circumstances?
With voters in Essex and Surrey excluded from the elections, all eyes in the home counties will be on Buckinghamshire and Hertfordshire, where it's a 2-horse race between Conservatives and Lib Dems. Simon Harris, ITV News, Chesham.
Now, it will be the biggest test of public opinion since Keir Starmer moved into number 10. Local elections are being held across the country a week today. But what chance of an upset in the home counties? From the Late Debate studio, here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
A week before local elections in the home counties, we'll be asking how big a test it is for Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch. Are the Lib Dems on course for big wins in Buckinghamshire and Hertfordshire? And will Reform make any impact in a part of the country which largely voted Remain? Plus those big cuts to the Metropolitan Police to plug a £250 million hole in the budget. And how are Donald Trump's tariffs affecting London businesses? I'll be joined by Labour's Siobhan McDonough, Chris Philp from the Conservatives and the Lib Dems' Victoria Collins. That's the Late Debate here on ITV1 after news at 10.
The Bank of England boss has warned that Donald Trump's tariffs could cause a shock in the UK, with the country's growth forecast set to shrink. While Governor Andrew Bailey speaks to finance leaders in Washington, small businesses here have been telling us they are being bullied by America and that the 10% tariffs could ruin their livelihoods. Our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
In her front room in Romford, Paula Mee might seem an unlikely target of Trump tariffs. Paula Mee hand weaves textile jewellery, and America is her biggest export market. But the 10% tariff will force her to put up her prices.
My customers are independent shops in US. They are also small businesses like mine. So their business will be affected if the cost goes up, and I feel that will discourage them to order or work with my brand. And I'm very worried with that because US has been one of my strongest markets.
In Peckham, Kmet is one of London's smaller metal bashing firms. For more than 70 years, it's been turning out trays and trolleys for hotels and restaurants. A dozen people work here, and a fifth of the sales are to America. But the trays are aluminium, and the 25% tariff has already cost the company orders.
We're just a little business, but why would we get hit like this for no apparent reason? So we're going to do real damage, not just to little businesses, but to the world economy. It's bonkers. We'll try and survive, but being bullied like this is not great for a little business.
London's lucrative financial and legal services could also be hit. Accountants, lawyers and marketing experts in the city have clients across the UK.
For example, car manufacturers in Britain, they're buying legal services, they're buying accountancy services, they're buying consultancy services, they're buying advertising services, PR services from service firms in London. And if they cut their budgets, that will hit London.
But for some firms there may be opportunities. This popcorn business in Park Royal is expecting its US sales to take a hit, but it could also benefit from an America-China trade war.
China's a large market for us as well, and if the American-China trade war plays out, effectively American popcorns become 100% more expensive, so there must be an opportunity for us to send more to China.
In Romford, Paulamy is now researching new markets in the hope of selling her jewellery to Australia, Asia and the Middle East. But for many businesses, a trade deal with the US can't come soon enough. Simon Harris, ITV News, Peckham.